Hi, I'm architect Monica Khosla Bhargav. I run an architecture and interior design practice by the name of Kham Consultants. I always feel that a house is a self-expression of one's personality, and today I'm going to be reacting to Asian Paints Where the Heart Is, featuring Mandira Bedi. The link is down below, so do check it out. So let's get started. So cute.
Oh, you funny dogs, funny dog, you'll knock me over, both of you. I've always followed my heart in whatever I've done, be it the way I look, be it my career choices, or the home that I live in. And no matter how busy it gets, no matter how tough it gets, it always feels great to come home to my family. Hi, I'm Mandira Bedi and welcome to my home. We call this Rama. "17 years ago when I got married, I moved into my husband's home, which was a sweet little 2-bedroom apartment. And it was small, it was a little cramped. We were looking to move to a bigger place. And around that time, there was a broker who showed us this plot of land. It was a plot of land which had a half-finished swimming pool on it. It was available, it was for sale. And this place had a very nice vibe to it, at least for us. It felt really nice, it felt like it had a good vibe. Even though, Vastu-wise, plot of land that is almost triangular. You know, people don't buy things like this, but we still went ahead and bought it and we built.
So Vastu, it's a traditional Indian architectural guideline for the layout, orientation and shape of your house. And people, they believe in different methods. Some people believe in Vastu, some people believe in Feng Shui. The basic idea is to get a lot of positive energy in your house.
On it. And literally in 6 months we had this structure standing, and it took us another 6 months to keep doing stuff and getting the place ready. As and when money came, as and when we could afford to do upgrades, we upgraded. It was a work in progress for about a year. We didn't have an architect or an interior designer to actually tell us what we could do with the interiors. All the good things that happened while making this house and all the mistakes that happened were all ours. And
You don't always need to hire a professional architect or an interior designer. If you know your choices, then well, you can pretty much do it yourself. But just in case you are confused, you want some help, then it's a good idea to get some expertise in.
that's how this house was made. It's got a lot of history. When I started out, it was all about matching. Right from the gate, to the railings, to the dining table, to the dining chair, to the lamp was this one piece of wrought iron that we used. I still need some colors and some synergy to be there. I kind of worked my cushion covers based on this painting. And when this piece of art changes, which might do rather soon, we'll have another bunch of cushions and another bunch of colors dominating this room. This table, the coffee tables.
So this technique, of adding color through the accessories is something which I use pretty often in my projects, and generally keep the floor, the walls, the more permanent surfaces muted or in earthy tones, and then add these splashes of color through the accessories. So the advantages, as Mandira also says, is that every time you change your interior, you have like a whole new look.
And the sofas have been around from day one. That fixed bar, which is cemented onto the ground, that hasn't changed either. That's withstood the test of time. That's what makes up our living room at the moment. Who knows what it'll look like 5 years from now. So let's move up to the second level, but I want you to take a look at this lovely wall. It's the photograph wall. And so there are loads of pictures from way back when. Somewhere along the way with the new friends we made, they used to come and look at these pictures and say, where are we? So I had to add a couple of frames to keep it a little updated.
So it's a good idea to, have a memory wall or bring in all the pictures and photographs in your house or allocate a space for them. But it's also, I feel that you should get some element of commonality to bring in some coherence into the design. For instance, let's say you could use all the pictures in black and white, or you could use same design frames, or you could use the same size. And that brings the whole design together.
This is a house in levels, there are many landings, and we wanted to make our landings really interesting. We thought this is a nice place to let light in as well, and we wanted to put asymmetrical windows. This is something I bought from South Africa when I went to do my cricket for the first time.
Even I've got one of those. I got it from South Africa, and mine is like a lamp, so it's a little elevated, and I think that little element of space all around gives it, that space to be better appreciated.
Ostrich eggs, they make these globes. But this is one space where there's absolute and total chaos. What can you find here? Well, there are lots of bestsellers. My husband loves reading bestsellers and Jeffrey Archer's, and he loves Harry Potter as well. I, on the other hand,
I'm going to draw your attention here to something that a layman's eye may miss. Look at those middle shelves. They're sagging. This is because books, they weigh a lot, and we tend to overload our bookshelves. And this could have been avoided if the span of the shelves was shorter. And right now, I think Mandira, she can rectify them by adding a support in between. And if any of you are having issues with your bookshelf, you can also try the same technique.
I have a crazy mix of books, spiritual and self-help books. Books like, creative visualization, and lots of books by Louise Hay. Lots of books on cricket. So wherever I find space, I put my books, and they're of all shapes and sizes, and that's why the chaos. And the newest addition to this bookshelf are books on parenthood, baby and child care. But my son is now 5 years old, and these baby books don't help. I need to give them away, and here's where his room is. And this here is Veer's room. There's a little bit of color. At one point, his favorite vehicle was an auto rickshaw, so I found this really cute cushion cover which has an auto rickshaw on it, and scooters and cars and rockets and hot air balloons and school buses. We have a photographer friend who's taken some lovely pictures of him and me, so we have these up on the walls. Not many people know I was born in Calcutta. Therefore my name, Mandira.
What a coincidence. Even I'm born in Calcutta. In fact, I met Mandira in Calcutta at an event where the Kolkata Knight Riders cricket team were meeting the design fraternity.
Obviously, the Calcutta influence was very, very strong. After Calcutta, we lived in Delhi for a little bit, and then came to Bombay at the age of 5. And when my dad retired and moved to Delhi, that's when I stayed on, and that's when I started working, and that's when Shanti happened, the first ever daily soap on Indian television. Speaking of homes, I must tell you, when I started working, I rented a small little, it was not even an apartment, it was a small one room. And coming from a beautiful home to move into this one room, not even kitchen, just one room and a washroom, that's how I started. That's how I started, my working life. And then when I got married, I moved into the 2-bedroom apartment, and then after that, we built a house. So that's what the progression has been over the years. This over here is a painting I had made for my husband's, our 15th anniversary, running successfully for 15 years. This is very indicative of our relationship. I'm always sitting on his head. I trouble him a lot. And ये दोस्ती हम नहीं तोड़ेंगे. He's my best friend and Chole. Well, 5 elements I would say is firstly the shape of the plot. The second thing would be the various levels. So to use up all our FSI, we worked upwards. The third thing would be color.
FSI stands for Floor Space Index. Just in case you're not aware, it is the maximum covered area that can be built on a plot, and it's calculated by dividing the area of the built up areas over all the floors by the area of the plot of the land.
It was a very dominant thing all through the house. The fourth thing would be all the choices. The good choices, the bad choices, but whatever it is, made up the house. Hey! Also, I saw truckers! Come in! Come here! And the fifth thing would be, can I tell you? The Buddhas. Buddha Ji is all over our house, right? So many paintings. Yeah. So many paintings, so many statues of Buddha Ji. And Veer also likes to close his eyes and meditate like Buddha Ji. So, cheers, Raj. Cheers, Veer. Cheers. The story of my life in 3 words: sink or swim. And that includes this house as well. It used to be a swimming pool. Even though the swimming pool doesn't exist anymore, we're still swimming. The monsoon was on and there were 2 friends of ours. One was a corporate guy and the other one was Madhavan. He and this other friend of ours called Pasha and Raj and I, in the rains, we went up to the terrace. It was just the structure was standing. None of the rooms were ready. And we were thinking, let's call this house something. It was 4 of us who at that point had that moment saying, how about Rama? That's a nice name and it's an amalgam of both your names and it makes for a lovely name for the house.
So Mandira's house, it wears her and Raj's personality. And what I really like is the shape of the plot, the shape of the house. It gives it a certain dynamism compared to the common rectangular houses that we have. I also really like the exposed bricks on the interior and its repetition inside on the bar. And I think that the house interiors, they're an eclectic mix of colors, of styles, of collections. And I think the minimalist in me feels that a little understatement would have given it a more harmonious feel. Thank you. So do like, share, and subscribe.